Through 4 weeks of the college football season, the Mountain West has 5 victories over autonomous 5 opponents, the most of any conference in the group of 5 in 2021. Further, those 5 A5 victories are the 3rd most for any conference, trailing just the Big Ten and the SEC. Hi everybody, I'm Jesse Kurtz in the Mountain West Network studio for a national perspective on the strength of the Mountain West here in 2021. We are pleased to bring in national college football broadcaster Rich Waltz of CBS Sports. Rich, it's an honor to have you on. Thank you for the time. How are you?
Hey, thanks for the invite. I'm good.
Good.
And the Mountain West is really good. It feels like and looks like through the first month.
Yeah, we think so as well. Your broadcast partner, Aaron Taylor, recently went on national television to share his thoughts on where he thinks the Mountain West stacks up this season. Let's take a listen.
Fresno State put it on UCLA. Got all up in it, pushing them around the lines of scrimmage. And how about San Diego State? What they did to Utah? Like, the Mountain West clearly established itself as the group of 6 candidate. Get out of here, AAC.
You've seen a bunch of games yourself, past and present, in the Mountain West. How impressed have you been with the league's start this year?
Well, look, it's pretty easy to be impressed when you go on the road and get wins against Pac-12 teams like the Mountain West has. And obviously Fresno State's win at UCLA is probably the biggest. But I think that their loss at Oregon may be even more impactful because Oregon's number 3, UCLA is still in the top 25. Nevada's win at Cal's big. San Diego State's 2 wins at Arizona, beating Utah. All of that gives you cachet, and you hope that that those teams continue to win. That just raises the bar in the league. But look, I think that as we look at this conference, I was putting pen to paper and I jotted down, well, who could win the championship? Who do you think at this point is really a championship contender? And then there were 4 that jumped off at me: San Diego State, Nevada, Boise State, Fresno State. But then I started to think, Utah State's pretty good. Air Force isn't bad, and San Jose State's the defending champs, and they've got just about everybody back. Wyoming's 4-0, I think, too. So, I mean, I just can't remember a year where you had that many good teams. And Pat Forty, Pat Forty, the national writer, also had the Mountain West as the number 5 ranked FBS conference ahead of the Pac-12 in his power ratings. And that's, in terms of a national perspective, that says something.
No, we think so as well. Let's talk about the lead dog, so to speak, right now. As we sit here going into Week 5, Fresno State ranked as high as 18 in the national polls. In your opinion, what has made them so good so far?
There's a lot. I mean, the obvious is Jake Haener, Jalen Cropper, the talented wide receiver. We've got a great running back in Ronnie Rivers. I still see the Fresno State program with a lot of fingerprints from Jeff Tedford because, he brought Kalen DeBoer on before he went and back to Indiana and then came back to Fresno State. Haener deserves all the credit. He's playing at such a high level. They lead the Mountain West in points offensively, and they're 3rd overall in defense. So I like the defense. I think the defense is the unsung hero for Fresno State. That defensive line knows how to get to the quarterback, and they love their coordinator, William Inge, and we love him too. So I think that's a big reason why Fresno State is so good. You can't go into the Rose Bowl, you can't go to Eugene and just flat out outscore those teams. You have to have a defense that makes some big plays along the way.
Yeah, and one of the big head scratchers of the week, somehow San Diego State left outside of the top 25 in the national rankings, despite that 4-0 record and back-to-back wins over Pac-12 opponents. This is a program that's been a model of consistency year after year. What else do the Aztecs have to do to prove they're worthy of a top 25 ranking?
Keep Greg Bell healthy, I think, would probably be a start. They've been such a great anchor for the Mountain West in college football. Right now, they're last year and somewhat this year, they spread you out to run it. And I think they're still figuring out with that spread what else they can do. And I think developing a passing game, too, as the season goes along will help them. But I think they should be in the top 25 right now. And I think they're at 27 or 28 in the AP poll. So just win, just keep winning. I like them a lot, and I was looking at I brought props, so this is my spotting boards for San Diego State. Getting the offense rolling, finding a playmaker on the outside, but they do what they do, and they do it really well. They're a great defensive team. I think they'll be fine. It's just there's other really good teams. I can't wait to see them play Boise State. Can't wait to see them play Nevada. That should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. We're certainly proud of their start so far. A big conference game this week will match the two preseason favorites in the Mountain West, talking about Nevada and Boise State. You saw the Broncos play last week. Nevada is exciting as any team on the West Coast. What excites you the most about this early season collision between the Broncos and the Wolfpack?
All right, I got my Boise State board out yet. I haven't seen Nevada yet, but I saw an awful lot of them last year. Carson Strong is obviously the guy. He's completing a high 60s percentage-wise. He's averaging over 300 yards a game, and he's got Romeo Doubs. And anytime you can throw the ball in the vicinity of Romeo Doubs, good things usually happen. I like him a lot. That's the thing that jumps out at me about this matchup is the passing game for Nevada and the defensive secondary for Boise State. I thought that was a key. And Boise State's young on the corners. Their strength in their secondary is probably their safeties. Kaniho obviously is an All-American type player, the nickelback. So that secondary is going to have to figure out. Doubs is a big receiver. He's an NFL talent. Carson Strong he's an NFL talent. That's to me the interesting matchup there is the secondary for Boise State against Doubs and Strong. On the offensive side, Tim Plow, the offensive coordinator for Boise State, when he visited with us last week, said we need to get a little more variety. And man, did they have variety with Shakir, Holani lining up in all kinds of different spaces. And the difference in the running game against Utah State was Bachmeier. They allowed, in this running scheme, which is different from last year, the quarterback has more responsibilities in checkoffs and reading the defense before somewhat of an RPO. And Bachmeier was brilliant at Utah State in that. So that's another thing to watch is how does Boise State run the football and how does Bachmeier manage the run game. And he was terrific against Utah State.
Finally, before we let you go, your game this week, it's a big one. On CBS Sports Network, you'll have BYU at Utah State, second straight week that you'll have seen the Aggies. This is the battle for the old wagon wheel. The Aggies lead the Mountain West and rank 10th in the nation, averaging 533 yards of total offense a game. What do the Aggies need to do to get a big rivalry win over the Cougars?
Get out of their own way. I saw a note where they had like 440 total yards against Boise State. It's only happened one other time in the last 15 or so years where a team has had that much total offense and scored only 3 points in a game. That being said, if you watch the tape, they did a lot of good things on offense. They got to figure out, is it Andrew Peasley or Logan Bonner? And with Blake Anderson, it might be both again on Friday night. But they did a lot of good things. I would guess that the coaching staff showed them that and said, look, this is how close we were to scoring a lot of points. I know the Utah-BYU rivalry is really, really heated. This one is as well because a lot of these kids played against each other. Some were recruited by both schools. Some weren't recruited by BYU and want to get a shot at them. And Aaron Taylor may go on a big rant again. Who knows? So that might be fun too.
Well, we look forward to that. We look forward to you calling a game in Logan. You can't beat that atmosphere, especially in a rivalry game. Rich, we appreciate everything you do for the Mountain West. We're honored to have you here on this show. And have a great Friday night in Utah.
All right, you too. Thank you, Jesse. Thanks for the invite.
Absolutely. That's Rich Waltz, national football broadcaster for CBS Sports. From the Mountain West Network studio, I'm Jesse Kurtz.